There are a few things that you want to look out for when you're riding your scooter in the rain. And it's not a heavy rain, so the scooter is able to handle it. But a few of them are basic and you might already know them. You want to make sure your helmet is fastened, right? You want to, especially on a cold day like today, you want to have gloves that are warm. But more important than warm gloves are the flexibility of those gloves. Can you maneuver your fingers inside of those gloves? Another thing you want to watch out for is not only puddles, but you also want to watch out, more importantly, for fallen leaves, which tend to be more of a detriment in this kind of environment. Wet leaves make you lose traction faster than just water alone. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that cars may not necessarily be able to see you fully. So as you reduce speeds or change from one side to the other, make sure you signal. If your scooter does not have a signal, just keep your head moving on a swivel, which you should be doing anyway, but especially if you have riding a scooter, whether it's in the dark, whether it's in the rain, or you're in a high traffic area, as is this. You see, there were two trucks stopped there, trying to carefully avoid each other. And for some reason, drivers, they'll go faster in the rain for some reason. Maybe so they won't have to be around the other cars driving in the rain as much. And you saw that not pothole, but speed bump. So as you see, you can ride it. You just want to avoid danger as much as possible. As much as possible. And just like in life, it's a life lesson. You want to know when to slow down and when to speed up. On that occasion, we elected to speed up. We're going to eventually make a right so we can keep going south. It's also good when the weather is rainy like this to leave at a good time so you won't have to be forced to be rushing anywhere you're going. And even if you do leave late, you shouldn't rush and put yourself in more danger because you have limited amount of time to get to where you're going. So just keep that in mind. But if you leave with enough time, you can just avoid a lot of those issues. You stay here the time being on the bike lane, bike and scooter lane, motorized vehicle that doesn't have doors lane. See some wet leaves on the ground. And you want to give people the right of way, especially if they're bigger than you. But you don't want to be so cautious that you avoid getting to where you need to get to. For example, this car wants to park, so we're going to give them a space. We're trying to get around them at the same time, and sometimes it's not exactly smart to just rush to wherever you're going. We said it before, but you see the scooter handles pretty well in the rain, and a lot of it's because of the wide tires as the rain picks up. And I am wearing a helmet, full face. Hey, 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 hey! I'm trying to warn you, sir. Oh. Hold. Let me stop you so I can help you a little better. Oh man. Oh.
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Your hat, your hat.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it easy, take it easy. So, see, I could have. Try to warn them, but you see, a lot of people are just not looking where they're going. And that makes me feel bad. Because I was going about 8 miles per hour. And I could have been going a lot faster. That's what I mean. You have to go as slow as possible. Because my heart right now is beating outside my chest because of what just happened. And he acted like he wasn't even thinking about looking. So that's what I mean. You have to go as slow as possible. Even though I was in the bike lane. He didn't see me coming at all. And that's one of those, even if I have my lights, even as I yelled at him before I got to him, by the time he looked at me, I was so close to him that I had my brakes stopped at full stop, but nothing. But nothing. And in a situation like that, you can try to make the situation worse by getting all annoyed that somebody got in your way. Well, I'm just happy that he was a pretty big enough guy that he was able to get back up and not make it more of an issue that it needed to be. And I like the way he handled it too. He knew he was in the wrong and he didn't get emotional about it. He was holding a hat in his hand and his hat fell on the ground. I was trying to help him up, but with one hand and one scooter that was still going. It was interesting. It was interesting how I had to put the scooter to the side. I ended up helping him with two hands because I really did feel bad for him. Sometimes you could be in the right, but still feel sorry for somebody because the humanity in you doesn't let you just say, I am in the right. I am in the right, so I shouldn't feel. No. There's a lot of examples. There's a lot of examples as to people just not doing anything, and especially when you're involved, why not just extend that hand to just check to see if the person's okay? He did get up, but I'm going to assume he's going to have a little bit of pain on his leg, probably his right leg. He looked like he landed on his right leg. There's some emergency services. There are a lot of hospitals nearby. That's a good thing. And when you're braking in the rain like this, just be careful not to squeeze your brakes too much like I just had to do, because it can cause you to slip. I was able to stay up, but you know, just keep in mind the leaves, also the painted lines sometimes can be a little slippery too, just because of the coat of paint tends to have some kind of coating on it that can make you slip. So I would avoid the lines too directly, meaning the tire directly on top of it. And I'm I'm going at the slowest speed right now. If you notice. And that's all on purpose. If you're somebody who needs to rush everywhere, well, I wouldn't do it on a rainy day, a day that you can have freezing anywhere, a day that you can. So you saw those joggers there. They're about to jump into the bike lane. I see this car half in the bike lane and half out. That's what I mean. A lot of distracted people, a lot of distracted drivers make it so riding a scooter can be tricky sometimes. Get it all here, live action, live video. And this is something that gets on the nerves of a lot of riders as we drive over some styrofoam, is garbage trucks parked and doing their daily pickup in the middle of rush hour. So they need to do their duty, but sometimes it just gets in the way of everything. And they are working hard, but these streets are very narrow, so it's not like cars can go around them. But even if they started half an hour later, I think it would be a better situation than this. But as you saw, it was raining. He wasn't even wearing anything to cover his head, and it is cold. So a lot of times they put their health at risk to get the job done. And sometimes they don't receive enough credit for what they do. Not all of them. You know, a few of them like to cut corners and not do as good a job as others. But when you see a job well done, you have to acknowledge it. The other thing about running into that man, I like how the cars behind stop also. They weren't in a hurry to get by. They acknowledged that there was something happening, and they worked around the situation, with the situation, I mean. Line up the cars here. See if we can go around the street. As you see, there's not much space here. But we will share the road. Sometimes it's better for riders when traffic is stopped like that, so you can maneuver your way around. And so people can look out where they're going. A lot of times when there's not a lot of cars, people are not used to looking out because they don't expect anything to come. But on a rainy day like this, at a time where probably beginning of rush hour, my head would be at a swivel. Maybe it's just the New York thing. Some people will react like if they have no place else, there's no one else on the road, or it's beyond them to look. But I'm always looking. Not to say nothing will ever happen, even if you do look, but you have more of a chance for it, you know, to adjust to whatever might be happening. And who knows, maybe none of this audio is coming out. But I'm testing this new mic. You see an oil slick on the road. You want to be careful with that too. I'm braking over it. I usually know it by the rainbow colors on it. Kind of look like 1990s dress pants, but in oil spill form. Also, when you're riding, especially if you're beginner to riding, you'll notice that side streets that have no traffic on it might make a little sense make more sense than going through the middle. There was a sign on that. There was a sign saying that you cannot cut through the university, which kind of makes it odd for riders, because there's a lot of space